I am Dithorba, one of the 4 heavenly knights of Celeste. You will take your hand off me if you care to keep it.
Dithorba is our newest Grand Hero Battle Reward unit. My sacrifice to the heroic Grill gods to stop sending us so many lands flyers lasted about 3 months, and I suspect we're not ending 2021 without at least another one in the works. Still, Dithorba does at least offer some interesting traits to try and stand out, so for newer players, she is a unit worth looking into. First off, for stats, Dithorba has 43 HP, 35 attack, 38 speed, 23 defense, and 33 resistance. Definitely a Pegasus Knight stat line if I've ever seen one, with actually quite impressive attack and speed for a reward unit, and then the low defense but high res defensive spread. 35 attack, 38 speed is absolutely great, especially in this competitive class, but 23 defense is not something you want to see in a melee unit. Generally, being melee means dealing with all these sword, lance, and axe users out there, so it's definitely not the best stat to drop immediately. To make up for it, Dithorba does at least have decent base HP compared to some of the other Pegasus Knights, and 33 res is going to be useful if you run into mages and dragons. Not the most conventional stat line, but it's still workable. For a weapon, Dithorba brings the Fire Sweep Lance Plus, 15-might weapon that prevents the user and foe from counterattacking. Basically a pure player phase weapon that is great for poking at foes without getting hit back. You just need to be aware of No See Disrupt, which can disable the effect. Flyers are great Fire Sweep users, but we have a ton of Lance Flyers who can also build this weapon effectively. For a base kit, Dithorba actually has some nice skills. She's going to have Glacies to complement her high res stat, and she comes with Flyer Formation in the B slot. Flyer Formation lets Flyers warp to other flying allies within 2 spaces, and it's great for being annoying in Flyer Emblem teams. You can also use it to set up rally traps with dancers if you want to be mean. I believe Dithorba is the 3rd heroic girl unit to have Flyer Formation, so if you really need this skill, you should be able to get it easily by now. As for her other inheritable skill, we aren't getting no weak sauce, HP and speed increasing skills, but Dithorba comes with Speed and Res Oath 3. Speed and Res Oath grants plus 5 speed and resistance to the user if they start to turn next to an ally. We just got this skill last month on Aspo, and we're actually already getting it on a reward unit. Quite surprising to see, honestly, and this is the first time an Oath buff is on a non-5-star or limited time seasonal unit. Oaths are usable by Flyers and infantry units, and they aren't bad if you plan to stay in formation with the team. With Flyer Formation, Dithorba can do just that, and she can use that extra speed to get some more doubles, and the bonus res is nice to shake off more magical damage. Her weapon may be nothing special, but Dithorba has 2 solid passive skills if you need some skill fodder. If you wanted to merge Dithorba up, she's going to get plus 1 HP, speed and resistance with the neutral nature, pretty decent boost playing to her strengths. No super boons, but a plus attack, plus speed, or plus res boon could work depending on what you want to build for, maybe even plus defense if you really want to balance out her stats. We've done this song and dance many times now, so what does Dithorba bring to the free-to-play Lance Flyer pool, or rather Ocean at this point? In terms of just general stat spread, she is most similar to Sigrun and Cynthia as a faster unit. 35 attack, 38 speed easily puts Dithorba at the top of the group if that's all you care about. She matches similarly to Sigrun, and although her defense and res are lower, she does throw extra points into her HP, so take that into consideration. For what it's worth, I would say Dithorba is the Gen 5 equivalent to Sigrun, except she is a Grand Hero Battle unit versus Sigrun, who is a Tempest Trials unit. If you've plus 10 a Tempest Trials unit before, then you know that they are very expensive heroic grail wise. If you wait for a Grand Hero Battle rerun to get 4 total copies, you can save almost 1,000 heroic grails, and if you're maybe a free to play or low spending user that likes to plus 10 units, then that can make a big difference over time. If you wanted to plus 10 a Lance Flyer with those type of stats, Dithorba would do just fine at a much lower heroic grail cost. Taking a look at the summonable 3 to 4 star Lance Flyers, there is more competition if you just care about attack and speed stats. Shigure is right behind Dithorba, but Sedet is a strong competitor in the current BST generation, and he comes with a unique lance that gives him more attack and speed as well. If you wanted a higher res Lance Flyer who's still fast, there is Claire, although her base HP and attack are quite far behind. To make up for it, she does have that dual effectiveness from Round Fire that has Flashing Blade as its refine. Honestly, with normal flyers not having access to Flashing Blade, I find Claire and Cheetah's refines still very useful. Last, while Dithorba has very nice attack and speed for any type of offensive builds, there is Cordelia. She's one of the most popular Lance Flyers for veteran players, and she got a resplendent form, which means plus 2 to all stats. If you're not worried about tanking, Cordelia is such a strong competitor thanks to her long time availability, her resplendent stat boost, and her unique weapon plus refine. In terms of builds and playstyles, Dithorba can make use of all of her base kit just fine. Fire Sweep Lance is a super simple weapon, and generally you just need extra attack and speed for more doubles. Dithorba can use Darting Blow or Death Blow, and then Swift Sparrow in the second skill slot. With Flyer Formation, she can warp to an ally, poke an enemy down, and Speed and Res Oath is great for the plus 5 speed. I would consider changing out Glacies for Iceberg because then it procs in the second round of combat, otherwise Glacies needs 2 turns of charging assuming you double both times. Now for other skills, if you can get it, Swift Sparrow 2 is on a lot of units. Additionally, you can just go for for double life and death skills now that we have the Sacred Seal version for plus 10 attack and speed. With a fire sweep weapon, you shouldn't be getting touched anyway, but if you do get hit, well then 13 defense, not great. If you like Flier formation, attack and speed bond is a bit safer to use, otherwise Swift Sparrow is the best general purpose initiation skill. If you want to replace Flier formation, hit and run or drag back are fun with fire sweep weapons, and chill speed is nice to deal with faster enemies. For C skills, you can try attack or speed smoke to weather the enemy phase, or something like a wave buff if you don't plan to stay with teammates. I think speed and res oath does just fine though. For premium skill builds, Fire Sweep Lance still super easy to build for. Max attack and speed skills like Swift Sparrow 3 and attack and speed solo are fantastic. If you do use solo skills, you may not want to use Flier formation type tactics, but it's fine if you just want to stay mobile outside of battle. For C skills, while speed and res oath is nice, speed and defense rain gives us more damage and it works at any point. If you want to use other inheritable lances, Dithorba has a whole armory to choose from. She's very similar to Anand from the banner, so you can copy her build. If Pirate Geese comes around, maybe on the upcoming Devil Special Heroes banner, you could get the Flowing Lance and then borrow Anand's sturdy impact and guard bearing combo. Attack and defense rain can be gotten from airiness as well. For other weapons, you can't really go wrong with a Slaying Lance, Brave Lance, or Ninja Yari can work, although Cordelia again says hi with her unique Brave Lance weapon. If you got Winter Hilda, her Candy Cane can help patch up Dithorba's lower defense stat, plus you get guard. Additionally, there is the normal guard lance or the Vanguard and Barrier lances for a defensive playstyle. If you wanted, Dithorba can be an okay distant ward / distant counter user since her defense is low to start with, and obviously you just stack a ton of res with that one. Otherwise, she's another Pegasus Flight candidate as well. This skill is literally on one unit, but it's so niche that I have to mention it in case it suddenly becomes more available. Pegasus Flight requires flat stat comparisons for speed and resistance, so it's best on fully maxed invested units. That means plus 10 marriages, summer support, dragon flowers, weapon stat refines, boons, the whole package. You can work with Fury 3 or 4 and Fortress Defense and Res skills. Coincidentally, Speed and Res Oath is probably one of the best C skills for Pegasus Flight since it gives both speed and res field buffs, which is exactly what that skill wants. It's almost like it was planned. Like for Anand, I think Pegasus Flight with the Flowing Lance would be a fun combo. You just stack a ton of attack and defense debuffs on the enemy. So, should you promote Dithorba to 5 stars? She has amazing attack and speed stats among free-to-play lance flyers, 35 attack, 38 speed's pretty great in comparison to even the summonable options. Her low base defense is a big sore spot, but Dithorba has higher than average HP to make up for it, and her 30 res is solid. In terms of skills, Fire Sweep Lance is not new, it's still fine for hit and run tactics. Similarly, Flier Formation's a great skill if you don't need anything else in that B slot, and can be pretty annoying in full Flier Emblem teams. Speed and Res Oath is the biggest surprise since the skill itself is barely a month old, and it's a decent self-buffing ability. Overall, Dithorba matches up well in the stat department, but there are so many lance flyers to choose from. She's not bad, but won't be turning heads at all when longtime players probably already have a lance flyer built up. The lack of a unique weapon really does hurt, but there are many inheritable lances to use and build variety is quite high if you have premium skills. Dithorba seems to fill the speedy lance flyer role for this current BSD generation among heroic grow options. You can kinda see the progression from Cynthia to Sigrun and now Dithorba. If you want to spend heroic grows, she's not a bad choice, especially for a niche Pegasus Flight build, but there are so many summonable lance flyers to choose from as well. Personally, I don't imagine Dithorba will be making waves, but if you're a newer player, then she may be worth using if you don't have the large stockpile of old lance flyers from summoning all these years. One advantage of the heroic rail units is that once they do release in the shop, you can just pull the trigger and get that +9 or +10 project going. That's all I got for this video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about Dithorba in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.